Hey, TVC Kids, we are back for part 3 of The Squire and the Scroll. If you haven't heard the first 2 parts, go on back on Instagram or Facebook and listen to the first part. But for a very quick recap, we have a kingdom. And the lantern of purest light, which rules over all the kingdom, has been stolen by the enemy. And so the king has gone through all his knights but one. And the knight carries with him the Squire, the lead character of our book, the Squire. The Squire is pure of heart. He lives by the scroll with the 5 rules that his mom and dad have given him, that he's grown up with. That scroll is kind of like our what? Yep, it's like our Bible. All right, so that's the story so far. He's found, as they've gone through, he's found a bag of wool, which helped him protect his ears from evil sounds. He found a shield, which helped protect his eyes from seeing evil faces that were mixed up with jewels. And guess what? The knight, he couldn't see past that, could he? He went for the jewels and got trapped in the tunnel. So now our Squire is on his own. He's brave, he's courageous, and he is on his own because he's going to save the kingdom. Here's part 3. The path was dusty and the journey long. Soon the thirsty Squire came to a small lake where a flask stood near the shore. Immediately, the 3rd rule of the scroll came to mind. Keep the unclean far from your lips to guard the wellspring of your life. The Squire did not know if the pond was safe to drink or if the liquid in the flask was refreshment or poison. For some time, he walked along the edge of the water, praying patiently for wisdom. It's always a great thing to do if you don't know what to do, is stop and pray, isn't it? Suddenly, the sun, which had been concealed by the clouds, broke through, revealing that the water was full of dead fish and other animals that had lost their lives because the water was actually poison. The same glint of light revealed the etched words on the flask that said pure. So the flask is like a little bottle, and on the side it said pure. So he knew that was pure water to drink. The Squire thanked God and drank gratefully. Again, the words of the scroll had brought wisdom and saved his life. So he trusted the scroll that said, keep the unclean far from your lips to guard the wellspring of your life. And how did he do that? He prayed and asked God to show him, and God sure did. It was not surprising to the young man when he came upon a fork in the road, nor was he surprised by the boots that sat on the ground before him. So let's think about it. He found a bag of wool, covered his ears. He found a shield, covered his eyes. He asked for he prayed and asked God to show him about the water, and God did, and gave him pure water to drink, right? So now he's on the path, and there's a pair of boots. He remembered rule number 4. Make level paths for your feet and take only the ways that are firm. Now, one path looked so wet, well, it could be quicksand that would swallow him up, but the other looked dry. But as the Squire studied the boots, he thought, why would I need boots for a dry path? I believe I ought to take the path that seems a risk, for the wool, the shield, and the flask have led me right. Sure enough, when the Squire stepped onto the wet ground, it was hard as a rock. And he walked further on. He glanced to the side and saw a poor bunny wander onto the dry trail and sink into the land that looked solid. So the Squire, I'm going to show you the picture, but the Squire trusted God to show him the right way. He trusted that God was laying out these things like the wool and the shield, the flask, and now the boots to lead him on his right way. All right, so we're down to the 4 rules we've learned, 4 out of 5, right? Okay, so let's pull out your scrolls. Let me see where you're at. So we've had rule number 1, listen only to the words that are pure. That means guard your heart. Don't listen to words that aren't pure or not of God, right? Rule number 2, let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze before you. Think about that path that God has for you. Are you staying on that path? Are you veering off? Rule number 3, keep the unclean far from your lips to guard the wellspring of your life. Let only healthy, good things come into your body. All right? And so we're starting, here's where you guys are caught up to. So list some good things you can put into your body to keep you strong. Are you guys exercising during this time? Are you eating good food? Are you thinking about your body? Are you building your body strong? I know you can do it. And then rule number 4, make level paths for your feet and take only the ways that are firm. Think about your steps. Think about where you're going. Think about the steps of your life, not just the steps of your feet, but the steps of your life. Are you following God's path? Be sure that you're going into a direction that God would take you. Ask him before you go. I love that the squire didn't just say, well, looks clean to me, I'll drink it. He said, I'm going to pray and ask God, is this water clean to drink? And God put the sun in the sky, and he saw that it was not clean, but the little flask, the little bottle was pure, and it was given to him. God has those answers for us. We don't have to wonder, oh, I don't know if this is the right way or this way. Pray, ask, and sometimes we have to wait for God to show us what's the right thing.